Hey. Hey guys. Look. Can you see everything? Yep. Hey guys, we're just waiting for some people to come in. I don't like the way they look. Hey Larry Douglas, how are you? Hey guys, we're just waiting for some people to come in. Just trying to get this situated right here. Let me see if I turn it around the other way. Hey Larry Douglas, how are you? Just waiting for some people to come in. Just trying to get this situated right here. Okay, we got 3 on. Let's see who's on. Hey, happy Tuesday, Butler Party of 4. I'm just trying to get this phone right so y'all can see everything. Let's see who's on. Hey, happy Tuesday, Butler Party of 4. Okay, so that's not gonna work for me, so I need to turn it back the other way. So, are y'all ready for today's lesson and conversations? I hope you guys learned some stuff from last week and the week before. Cool. Okay, y'all coming. Thank you. All right. So I was just trying to make sure that y'all can see everything properly. And it's still not the way I want it to be. Maybe I move it down some. Okay. So, well, today, thank you guys for tuning in today, which is Tuesday. And today is Color Conversations with Jackie the Color Diva, Hair Color Academy. So again, the reason why I started this simply because, can I get some clothes? Simply because with this pandemic, I haven't been traveling, I haven't been meeting new people. So I said, let me come on Instagram Live and YouTube and just share some of my knowledge, and we just have some color conversations. For those who don't know me, I'm Jackie the Color Diva. I've been doing hair for over 30 years. I am an American Board Certified hair colorist, so hair color is my specialty. I am a educator, author, beauty specialist as well. So I'm an all-around hairstylist, but color is my passion. I focus on color a lot. Color is my specialty. 80% of my clients in the salon do get color. So, today we're just going to talk about color. Again, if you have any questions or concerns or just want to talk about something, email me so we could talk about that in our next session, okay? Or we could talk about it today. So let me just go back and tell you about what we talked about prior to. We talked about your Hair Color Guide to Freedom. Hair Color Guide to Freedom is a 10-step guide that you can use to help you successfully do your hair color in the salon. Okay, so it's a 10-step guide. As long as you follow those 10 steps, you should have no problems doing hair color in the salon. Then the week after that, we talked about hair color zones 1, 2, and 3, simply where hair color can be placed in the head so you know exactly what your clients is looking for. We want to start talking about zones on the hair shaft as well as on the head. So that's what we talked about on the second week. So if you missed any of those weeks 1 and 2, you can go on my YouTube channel, Jackie the Color Diva, and you can review all of the information right there. Each one is an hour, so you get some really good information for an hour to help you with your color knowledge, okay? So today, what we're going to be talking about, anybody have any questions from the weeks before we start with anything else? Or did you, if you let me know if you learned something from the last time that you did not know before. You're not hearing me? Can anybody hear? If you can hear me, say yes. It's up. I can hear. Okay. So I don't know, Kwana. Can everybody else, can you put a thumbs up if you can hear? Or do some hearts if you can't hear. Somebody put a thumbs up. Yes, you can hear. Cool, cool, cool. Everybody else can hear. I don't know. Is your volume turned up? Okay. So everybody else can hear. So we're still going to get started. So what we're going to be talking about today is color correction. A lot of people want to know about color correction. They had so many questions about color correction. Cool, thank you. About color correction. It is not really one answer for color correction. It's more than just, you know, how do I correct this? How do I, if I have this? You have to know about the hair and have to know about the colors you're working with in order to do a color correction. So what is a color correction? A color correction is any unwanted or undesirable hair color that's on the hair that you need to fix, okay? And that's simply because it went too dark, it went too light, it turned green, it's over processed. Any of those things, you're going to do a color correction. Any undesirable result that you have on the hair that you don't want there, you're going to do a color correction, okay? And a color correction is so many ways to do a color correction because it all depends on what you're correcting and what the end result is going to be, okay? So a color correction, again, if you went too light, that means you got to take it darker. If you went too dark, that means you need to take it lighter. So all of those different things will require you to use different products. It's not just one product all the time. It's several products that you can use to do a color correction, depending on exactly what you want to do. Okay, you know, prime examples of color correction, again, like I said, you going too light, you went too dark, it's too warm. That's a lot of people issues. It's too warm. If you want to do a blonde color and it's still too warm, what can you do? Okay, the hair went green because you was lighter and you're trying to go darker and it turned green. What do you do? Okay, or it's over processed and you really don't want to put another product in that hair. What can you do to help that hair? Okay, so those are the things that we're going to be talking about today. So if you have any questions or if you have any issues with color corrections, put something in the chat so we could talk about that, so we can, you know, touch on that before we start. Any questions about anything? So like I said, I'm looking 2 different ways because I'm on Instagram as well as YouTube. So anytime that you miss any of these lives, you can go right on YouTube on my channel, Jackie the Color Diva, and I can definitely help you out, and you can watch it over and over again, okay? Again, we talked about last week, the 10 steps. The week before, we talked about color zones. I hope you all remember that. So when you go back into the salon, you can be talking to your assistant about those color zones. Zones 1, 2, and 3. Remember, zone 1 was in the crown of the head. Zone 2 is right there under the parietal ridge to the occipital bone. Zone 3 is the occipital bone and below, okay? So hair color corrections. Y'all ready for the nitty gritty? So what do you do when you do hair color corrections? What's some of the formulas? What's the process for doing hair color corrections? And I always say this, whatever is the missing primary color that's not in the hair, that's what you use to do a color correction, okay? We all know what the primary colors are, right? Can you recommend a certain type of mannequin that you like to practice on? Okay. The certain type of mannequins, if you go on, what is it? Any of them over here? So these are all Chi mannequins because I work with Chi. But it's a site that I go on, begin with a G. Giltrin, Grill, G-R-E-I-L-L. Very cheap mannequins and they're good. So set up an account with them. If you're a hairstylist, you can set up an account with them and you can get some mannequins from them, okay? So I hope that helped you out. So Grill, G-R-E-I-L-L. You can go in here and get your mannequins. That's where I get mine from. Most of the time you'll see that I have cheap mannequins, but when I'm doing my teaching classes and things like that, I use the Grill mannequins. So hair color correction. We talked about, we always say to ourselves, what's the missing primary color? Whatever the missing primary color is, that's what you're going to use to help correct those colors. What are the primary colors? Red, blue, and yellow, right? So let me, so I was going to write some stuff down. So I like to use my board. Can y'all see really good? Let me pull it up a little bit. To see a little bit better. So the primary colors, blue, red, and yellow. And then yellow. Can y'all see that? Awesome. Blue, red, and yellow. You can see, right? So we have the primary colors are blue, red, and yellow. If you notice, each circle, blue is the largest circle, red is the medium, yellow is the smallest, right? Because blue is the largest dye molecule. That's the largest one to get out of the hair is the blue. Then the next one is the red, and then the next one is the yellow. A lot of people be like, red is the hardest. Yeah, red is hard, but if you have blue in the hair, the blue is a larger dye molecule, so that's going to take more to get out of the hair. The next is red, and the next is yellow. Okay, so when you're doing a color correction, you have to make sure you have all three of those colors in the hair to neutralize the hair, right? When we say we neutralize, when you have all three of these primary colors together, you get a neutral color, which is a brown neutral color, okay? So when you're trying to correct the color, you want to go take it back neutral, and then you go ahead and do the colors that you want to do, okay? So anytime you're doing a color correction, these three have to be present in order to correct that color. For example, the hair is too brassy. If the hair is too brassy, what color make brassy, which is orange? Okay. Can somebody tell me what colors make orange? While you're telling me, I'm going to write it down. Anybody tell me? Nobody tell me. So colors that make orange is red and yellow. That's going to make orange, right? So if we have red and yellow in the hair, which is orange, that's making the hair too brassy, what is the missing primary color? Can somebody tell me that? So we have red and orange. What's missing to make that neutralize and get rid of that brassiness? Anybody? I know y'all know because it's right here. Blue. So if you notice a lot of color companies have blue and violet shampoo, it's because a lot of times people are a lot of brassiness and a lot of yellowness in their hair. So if you see a lot of brassiness in the hair, any color that has a base of blue will get rid of that brassiness in the hair. So if you have a level 8 copper colored hair and it was too brassy, you would take a level 8 blue-based color to get rid of that brassiness. The light is making it blurry. Okay, let me see. Thank you. That's not making it better, is it? Let me turn out some of the lights in here. Let's see. Is that making it any better? Did that make it any better? No, the light is making it blurry. Let me see. Let me just move it up a little bit more then. Okay, I think you have to see it a little bit better right now. Let me see right here. Okay, can y'all see that better? And turn down the light a little bit more. Can y'all see that better? Oh, I think so. Shonda, can you see that better? Yes, no, maybe? Before I go on, can somebody help me out? Okay, so anyway, if you have something that's orange and it's too brassy, orange is made up of red and yellow. So simply because orange is made up of red and yellow, you need something blue to get rid of that brassiness in that hair, okay? That's why you see a lot of manufacturers carrying blue shampoo and violet shampoo, because a lot of times people are trying to get rid of the yellow in the hair. And if you have yellow in the hair, what's the two missing primary colors if the hair is yellow? The missing primary colors is blue and red. Blue and red makes violet. So that's why you see a lot of violet shampoos, is because it's getting rid of the yellow. Am I helping anybody with that? If I am, put some hearts up so I know that you can understand what I'm talking about. I hope so. I hope you can see the board. Can somebody put up a thumbs up or anything? Anyway, okay. So that is basically how you do corrective coloring. It's saying to yourself, what is the missing primary colors that's in the hair that you see? So if you see the hair is too red or it's too warm, if the hair is red, right? If the hair is red, then what do you need to get rid of that red? The two missing primary colors that's missing is yellow and blue. Yellow and blue makes what? Green. Equal portions of yellow and blue. Anytime you have two equal portions of primary colors, it's going to make a secondary color. Okay? It's going to make a secondary color. So your primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. Your secondary colors are green, violet, and orange. And then you have your tertiary colors. Tertiary colors are a mixture of a primary color and a secondary color. So for example, you'll have your yellow red, your red orange, your red violet, your blue violet, your blue greens, and things like that. That's how you get your tertiary colors. So sometimes you might need a tertiary color to get rid of another tertiary color. Okay, because sometimes the hair might be a red orange instead of just a red. A lot of times you got to realize too that the hair go in stages. So anytime, depending on the level of color hair that you're working with, each level of hair has its own underlying pigments. And you have to know for each level what you're working with. So the levels go from 1 to 10, sometimes 11, right? Each level, the lower the level, the darker or more pigments you have in the hair. So levels 1, 2, and 3, they have darker pigments as opposed to 7, 8, and 9, okay? So anytime you're lower on the totem pole, it has more pigments. So that means it has to go through more stages of level of lift in order to get to, if you're trying to get to a level 9. So if you're trying to get to a level 9, it has to go through all of those stages to remove that underlying pigment in the hair to get up to that level 9. So a lot of times when people are trying to lift the hair and they working with dark hair, they sometimes get stuck right in that middle stage, which is the level 7. For example, let me push this back a little bit since y'all couldn't see this. For example, this mannequin here. Most of the times we're working with this level of hair, a level 3, okay? It could be a level 4, but I can say this is a level 3. Most of the time, we're working with level 3, maybe sometimes level 2 hair. And then this level 3 client want to get up to this, okay? They want to go from here to here. This is a level 10. This is a level 3. They're going 7 levels of lift, okay? You can do that with lightener and 40 volume. But sometimes people's hair can't take that 40 volume. So you can do it, all depending on their hair texture, you can do a 10 or 20 volume and just let it sit a little longer, and it's going to get to where you need it to go. And that's where a lot of times you don't need to do a 40 volume developer. Let it work slow and keep the integrity of the hair, keep those cuticles closed so that the hair can stay nice and strong. But a lot of times we're working on this level of hair, level 3, and they want to get to that level 10. The hair is going through stages, okay? It's going through a stage. At level 3, we're working with a dark brown, a medium brown hair, right? And those red undertones is in that level 3. We got to get those red undertones out of the hair. So every time it starts to lift from a level 3, it's going to go to a level 4. Level 4 underlying pigments is red. Level 5 underlying pigments is a red-orange. And then it's going to go to an orange-red. And then from there, go to an orange. And then a yellow-orange. So it keeps going. The higher you go, the less red pigments you're going to have in the hair. And that's what a lot of people get stuck with, is still with those red pigments in the hair when they're trying to take the hair from a darker level to a lighter level, okay? So what we need to do is make sure we keep that lightener on the hair or whatever product on the hair long enough so it can go past that level 7 stage. Usually it gets stuck in like one of these stages here with this red in here, okay? So if you want to keep red in hair, level 7 is fine. But if you don't want red in the hair and you want to go up to a blonde, you have to let the hair work its way up to that blonde. And sometimes you might not be able to get it in one application, okay? Sometimes you might have to take her up to that level 7, let her sit there, and then when she come back, take her up again. Because sometimes the hair might not be strong enough, or you just don't want to take it through all of that process all in one day. So it's up to you, depending on your client's hair and depending on what you're working with, you can determine, if you want to take them up those 7 levels in one day, or if you want to stagger them, okay? So it's up to your choice. But again, color correction is all about making sure you have all 3 of the primary colors in the hair to take it neutral and then go ahead and do what you need to do. Again, how to do that. Primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. Red, blue, and yellow. Blue is the largest color molecule, then go red and then yellow, okay? Most of the time, if the hair is red, you're saying to yourself, what do I need to get that red out of there? And you say, okay, what are the missing primary colors that you don't have? If you have red in the hair already and you need to neutralize it, the missing primary colors are blue and yellow. Mix blue and yellow together, what do you get? Green. So anytime you have something red in the hair and you need to get rid of it, your go-to color is going to be a color that has a green base in it, okay? A lot of times people get scared of that green base, which is ash. Most of the time, your color companies is not going to say green, it's going to say ash. So anytime you're working with ash, that's a cool color. So ash or that green is going to get rid of anything that has red in it, okay? So, and you got to make sure you're working on the right levels as well. Will using any lightener be okay? You can use all depending on, again, what you're doing to do a color correction. So say if this client here, she's a level 7, right? And she is red, but she just wants to be a nice brown, right? If she wants to be a nice cool brown, I'm not going to use a lightener on her to get rid of this red. All I need to do is take a level 7 or a level 6 ash brown color and put this on her head and she's going to be brown. So I don't need lightener for that because I'm staying brown. But where's my little client? Let me see. If this client, she's a level 4, right? And she's saying to herself, so if you notice in the back, she has some lightness in this back area. I did some lightening back here. Level 4, but look how light she can get because I let it sit. And I only use 20 volume on this mannequin, okay? I use 20 volume on this mannequin. It really don't matter what brand you use because they all do the same thing. They just all have different conditioners in it, or they might be the same, but they might have one might have another conditioner in there, one might have something else in there, but at the end of the day, they all going to do the same job, which is lighten the hair. So it's your choice on what brand you want to use. I just say practice and use different brands to see which one you like the best. Some work a little faster, some work a little slower, some might be thicker, some might be looser. Depending on what you like to work with determines what brand you want to use. I mostly use Chi products. Then I use some Wella products as well. So all depending on which one you want, who you want to use, just get them and see which one works best for you. Then you determine what brand you like the best. But I always say, learn one brand thoroughly. Their colors, their lighteners, their demi-colors, semi-permanent colors. Learn that one brand thoroughly to make sure you know and understand that brand thoroughly. And then one brand won't do the trick for everything. So as long as you know that one brand thoroughly, then you can go out and mix, grab this and grab that from other companies that you like a little bit better. Will using my lightener be okay? Will using any lightener be okay? Okay, the brand. So I would just say learn one company thoroughly and then pick and choose from different companies, different things that you might like better. Okay, that's what I do. I know Chi inside and out thoroughly. And then some things I like better from other companies, and I might use that because I just like that better. I see a different effect on the hair as opposed to this. So all depending on what you're working with, that will determine what you want to use, okay? So like for this one, she's a level 4. And start understanding your levels that you're working with. That way it will help you know exactly what you need to do to get up that light, if you want to go lighter or darker. Because each level, again, like I said, has its own underlying pigment. And if you understand what the underlying pigments are, you're either going to say to yourself, am I going to keep that underlying pigment? Am I going to enhance it? Am I going to neutralize it? Or am I going to dominate that underlying pigment? Am I going to get rid of it? Keep it? Will that underlying pigment, so she's at a level 4, right? So level 4, she has red underlying pigments, okay? So I'm saying to myself, the end result, do I want to keep that red or do I want to get rid of it or do I want to control it or dominate it? Which one is it going to be? So if she's at a level 4 and she wants to go to a level 9 or 10, which is something back here, we already know she's not keeping that red undertones because a level 9 and 10 is yellow undertones, right? So therefore, we don't want any red in our undertones. So I will pick a lightener. They do have lighteners that have toners in them. And I know if she's red undertone, I can use a green lightener, a lightener that has green pigments in there and get rid of that red undertone and take her to that level 9 that I want her to be. Okay? Because I know that green is going to get rid of that red. Hey, Michelle. And did you take your test? I forgot to call you to see if you took your test. So that's another one that's going for her American Board Certified certification. So thank you for coming on and checking us out. But we're talking about color correction and we're talking about making sure that all 3 of those primary colors are in there to do your color correction. Again, when you're doing your color correction, you're saying to yourself, whatever level that you're working with, if you're at a level 4, like this one. She has red under, every level has its own underlying pigments, and you have to learn each level and its underlying pigments. That's the best way you can do when you're doing color correction. If you know the level and what's at that underlying pigment, you should have no problem doing a color correction, okay? That's the key. The key is knowing what's in those underlying pigments, knowing what's in that level of hair. So, like I told you before, I have a hair color toolkit. In that toolkit, it has all kinds of diagrams and downloads that you can use to help you with your underlying pigments. It was postponed due to COVID. Oh, okay. Well, good luck. Okay. So, like I said, in my color toolkit, I have a sheet here that tells you about each level of lift in each level. Level 1, it tells you, is level 1 is black. The underlying pigments is a blue violet, okay? Level 5, a medium brown. Underlying pigment is going to be a red orange. It also tells you what you want to neutralize it with, a blue green. Why are you neutralizing it with a blue green? The underlying pigments are orange and red. You got to get rid of the orange and you got to get rid of the red. And like I said, if you have orange in the hair, what are those two primary colors? Red and yellow. What is the missing primary color? Blue. That's why you're going to use a blue. And then the red, you're saying to yourself, you got red in the hair, what's the missing primary color? Blue and yellow. Blue and yellow makes green. So that is why you're using a blue-green. And a lot of people miss that. They'll see a level 5, right? And they'll think they just see red undertones. They'll say it's red undertones, and then they'll go ahead and use a green base, and they're saying up to themselves, why is it still warm? The reason why it's still warm is because you missed that green. It's not just red, it's red-orange. So make sure you understand what you're working with when you're working with each of those levels, okay? Sometimes people say it's brassy, and I'll just say it's orange. It might be a red orange. It might be a brassy red orange or a brassy orange red, okay? Either one. So you got to say to yourself, what am I working with? Don't just say, oh, it's orange. It might be a red orange. So you say it's just orange, and then you use a blue base, and you're saying to yourself, why is it still warm? Because some of that red was still in there. So this is in my color toolkit. So in the toolkit, again, it has everything you need to know about color. It has the color grid. It has a formula grid. It has the levels. It has the color wheel. I'm going to watch you on YouTube. Cool. It has the color wheel. It has everything you possibly need to understand color. It has the color consultation ebook. It has a color disaster ebook for all the color disasters you can think of. I have solutions in there for them as well. It has everything you possibly use for color. That is only $27. You can go right on my bio on the Instagram, click the color toolkit, and order it, and you can download everything with that kit, $27. If you missed the first week, where is that sheet? I had your guide to color freedom. This guide to color freedom is a 10-step guide that will help you with your color knowledge in the salon. It tells you all the steps that you need to know for successful coloration, okay? This is free. You can go right to my bio and click it, put in your email address, and you can download it right then and there for free, okay? So I just wanted to get that out the way. But going back and talking about levels in color correction, you gotta understand those levels, okay? If you understand those levels and what you're working with and where you're trying to go, that's the main thing too. People start and then they don't even know where they want to go. You gotta understand where you're starting at, what level you're starting at, and where you want to go. What level do you want to go to? For example, if this client, I'm gonna say she's a level 7. She wants to go to a level 9. Okay, It's 2 levels of lift. But we already know a level 9 is a yellow undertone. So we're definitely, when we say, are we going to keep this underlying pigment? No, we're not keeping it. You're saying to yourself, am I going to neutralize it? Am I going to control it? Am I going to dominate it? And then am I going to control, neutralize, dominate, and enhance? So which one are you going to do with your underlying pigments? Okay, what are you going to do? So if I'm at a level 7, I'm trying to go to a level 9, 2 levels of lift. Level 9 is going to be a gold undertone. I already know I'm getting rid of her orange underlying pigments that's in her hair. Because level 9 does not have any orange. It's a blonde. Okay, so we already know we need something to get rid of those orange underlying pigments. And what is going to get rid of it? If it's orange underlying pigments, we're going to use a blue base. Not only are we going to use a blue base, I'm going to use a blue-green base because I want it neutral, but then I want it ashy looking. Okay? So that's another thing. I want to get rid of it, but I also want to dominate it with another color. So therefore, I'm going to use a blue-green base because I want it neutralized, but then I also want it to be an ashy look to the hair. So that's another thing, okay? So that's how you do color correction. Any questions? Because I got some people on here to come with some questions. Ask me some questions. What do you need to know? Did you understand the 3 primary colors and knowing that you need to have those 3 primary colors to do a color correction? Bring me some questions or tell me, did you learn anything or did that help you? Knowing that you either need to neutralize, enhance, dominate. I'm missing one, and control, okay, and control it. Which one are you going to do? That's what you have to ask yourself. What are you going to do? Okay, so ask me some questions here. I've been talking for 30 minutes, talking about underlying pigments, talking about primary colors, talking about color correction. Any questions? Anything happening in the salon that you have questions about? Anybody? Hello? Anybody on YouTube? Again, if you missed any of the volumes 1 and 2 that I did the last 2 weeks, you can go right on YouTube and check it out, comment, all that good stuff. And let people know what's going on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. We're talking some good color information, color consultations, all that good stuff. So we got people on here, and you mean to tell me that nobody has any questions right now? Put in some questions for me so we can keep this dialogue going on. Definitely helps me with thank you very much. I appreciate that. So you do know, where's my book? So some of you don't know, but I have a hair color book. Again, hair color book. Why did I write this hair color book? Hair Color Simplified. Hair Color Simplified. I wrote this simply because when you can't see out our colors, are we using color to do so? Okay, good questions. I'll come right back to that. So Hair Color Simplified. This is a book that I wrote. If you notice, it's very thin, but it has impact with so much information. I took my 30 years of experience with color and hair, put it all in this book to make it really simple and easy for everybody to understand. It's all the basic knowledge that you need to understand hair color. But this is called Hair Color Simplified. I also have this book. If you go on my bio, you can get it. It's only $25. But it's very interactive simply because in here, after the chapter, you have a QR code in here. Let me see, that you can scan, right? And once you scan it, it gives you more information. You can download. I might have a video about one thing, or, it might be a download that you can do. Additional information after each chapter with the QR code. Once you scan it, it talks a little bit more about the information that I talked about in here. So that's the hair color. Since we said we don't always have to, okay, so good question, Butler Party, I don't know your first name, Butler. I always call you Butler Party of Four. But your question was, so when canceling out colors, are we using color to do so? All depending on what you're trying to do and where you're at. For example, this one, she's a level 7, right? She's going to a level 9. I can do color. I'm using color to take her to her level 9. Okay. But if I'm doing, I can still do the same thing. All depending on what you're doing. She's a level 3, right? She's going to a level 9. I can use either color, a high lift color, or lightener to get her to where she needs to go. Some people so afraid of lightener, they be like, no, don't put no lightener in my hair, it's gonna break off my hair. So the next thing that we would use is a high lift color. And the high lift colors are usually levels 12 and 11, 12, and 13. And you'll use a double 40 volume developer to lift up I thought it was Alicia. Thank you, Alicia. To lift up that hair to get her to where she want to go if you don't want to use a lightener. You can use color to do color correction, or you can use bleach or lightener to do a color correction, all depending on what you're doing. Remember, everything doesn't require bleach. I always say use the gentlest product first. And we talked about that in week 1 about where hair color lives. And I can show you that as well, where hair color lives, because you don't have to use a hair color or a lightener every time. You need to know exactly where hair color lives in order to know, so that will help you determine what product you're going to use. Okay, Alicia. So, where hair color lives. This is a hair strand. Let me just put this right here. So, where hair color lives. This again is in my hair color toolkit. Hair color lives, hair structure. This is a piece of hair. Temporary hair color is only going to sit on a cuticle layer of the hair. It's not going to penetrate into the cortex. You got your semi-permanent, again, sitting on a cuticle layer of the hair, but it's going to go a little bit deeper. That's why it lasts a little bit longer. Then you have your demi-colors. Demi-colors will penetrate past the cuticle layer into the cortex. Some sit on the outside of the inside the cuticle, and some sit into the cortex layer. That's why it lasts a little bit. It's almost like a permanent, but it's not quite. It's going to last you a little bit longer, about 25 shampoos, but because some of them have penetrated into the cortex layer of the hair. And then you have your permanent, where all of the color molecules penetrate into the cortex layer of the hair. Therefore, that's why it's going to last longer. It's going to last till you cut it out or it grows out. Okay, so you got to understand where hair color lives, and that will help you determine what you're going to use when people ask you about different colors. That because sometimes your clients will say, I don't want it to last as long, or I want it to fade out. If they want it to fade out, you're going to either use a semi-permanent or a demi-permanent. Okay, because the demi-permanent is just going to fade out. It's not going to give you a lot of demarcation. Semi-permanent is going to fade out, not give you a lot of demarcation, but one is going to last a little bit longer than the other. Temporary only lasts from shampoo to shampoo. So that's just going to help you with toning and stuff like that, depending on what you want to do. Okay. So her question was, do you have to use bleach all the time? No, you don't. You can use color to do color correction, because the color has those tones in it that you need in order to help you cancel out those different other bases that's working in the hair. So if you have the underlying pigment of a orange underlying pigment, which is level 7, you're going to use a color that has the base that you want in there to cancel out that level 7 underlying pigment, which is orange. So anything blue base color, that's what you're going to use to cancel out that color. Okay. So lightener, you're using lightener anytime. For example, say if some of the curl corrections, say if you did this client's hair and it was too dark, you put brown in her hair and you did a dark brown, and she's like, oh, I don't like this dark brown, it's too dark. That way you cannot use a color in order to lift her hair up now to get it lighter. you're going to have to use a lightener in order to make it lighter. You cannot use color to put on her hair and say, okay, I'm going to get you lighter now, because you already, color does not lift color, okay? So therefore, you're going to have to take now some lightener and do probably a shampoo cap to get her lighter, okay? So I always say it's best to go lighter instead of darker, because if you go darker, you're going to have to do a color correction all over again. But if you go lighter, you can always tone it down. So that's a trick too. If you have to, if you stuck between, you don't know if you're at a level 4 or 5, always formulate for the level 4, the darker color. Because I'd rather for it to be lighter and I can correct it right at the bowl than be darker where I have to do a whole new application. Okay? I hope that helped you out as well. Any other questions about anything? Any other questions? So what we talked about today, then I'm just going to do a review. What we talked about today is corrective color, canceling out colors. Again, your primary thing you're going to say to yourself is, what are the missing primary colors that you don't see? So if the hair is orange, so again, what's the 3 primary colors? Red, blue, and yellow. And then to make secondary colors, you mix in 2 primary colors together. If you mix blue and red together, you're going to get violet. If you mix blue and yellow together, you're going to get green. If you mix red and orange, red and yellow together, you're going to get orange. Those are your secondary colors. And then you have your tertiary colors. That's a mixture of your primary and your secondary, equal portions. So always say to yourself, what's the missing primary color? The missing primary color is what you're going to use to help do that color correction. Again, if you have blue, the hair is blue and you're trying to get rid of that blue, you're saying to yourself, what are the 2 missing primary colors? Red and yellow. So you need orange in order to cancel out that blue. It's going to make it neutral, okay? If you have green in the hair, a lot of times people are blonde, right? A lot of times people are blonde and they want to go back darker, okay? You can't just take that red or that black, okay? You can't just take that black. Say if this blonde hair, level 10, and she wants to be black, and you took that color black and just placed it right on top of her head. What is usually the base colors of black? Anybody can tell me? What's usually the base color of black? Most of the time is a green base color. Black is usually green or violet, one of the 2. So what happens is, if you just took black and put it right on top of this, what's going to happen is that blue base that's in that green, when you say study a particular brand or color, that's what we do, especially since class, right? Let me answer that after this. So what happens if you just put black on top of this, and the black color is either a blue base, a violet base, or a green base, what's going to happen? The hair, if it's a blue base and you put on top of this yellow, what's going to happen? The hair going to turn green. So anytime you're going back where you're darkening the hair, you always got to put in what you took out. So most of the time, if it's blonde already, you took out all the warmth in the hair. So now you have to put that back in along with the color that you're putting in. So if it's black, you have to use an orange-based color as well, or a red-based color, so that you can put that back into the hair, because that's what's missing. So if it's going to be green, you're going to put something red along with that blue-based color so it don't turn green, okay? So anytime you're going backwards or darkening the hair, you always got to put back in what you took out, so it can be neutral. Otherwise, it's going to look drab and ugly because it has no warmth to it, okay? So I hope that helped you out. So when I said that you should study one particular color, brand, or I know it's hard simply because it's COVID and nobody's doing classes, but they have so many online as well. So you can, if you go to the color manufacturers that you like, well, I know right now Chi has a lot of stuff online that you can go in. You sign up to chipro.com and you can get so many classes for free talking about their hair color, okay? Redken does the same thing. Who else? Wella does the same thing. Wella has an app. So you can go to their apps as well as to their websites, sign up, and then you can get the information from them right then and there as well. So we all know that nobody's doing classes, but you can definitely go online and they're teaching webinars and everything online as well. And follow a lot of people that do color and see what they're doing. You know, I like to teach color. If you notice on mine, I don't have a lot of pictures of color because to me, you need to understand color first before you start applying it. You can watch somebody all day long and put color on and mimic that. But if you don't understand what they're doing, it's a waste to me. So I like to teach that theory part of the color so you can understand exactly what's going on with the hair, exactly how to place it, all of that stuff. Once you understand it, color placements and doing different things, it's going to become natural to you. It's going to come natural because you know exactly what you're doing because you're understanding the color itself. Okay? So any other questions? Somebody said purple. Okay. Yeah, black usually have a violet underbase, green, or a blue underbase when they're with black. So that's why anytime you put it on anything light, if you notice gray too, when is your next color? Oh, when is my next color class? I'm glad you said that. I was going to schedule it today. Most likely it will be the beginning of February. I will let you guys know on the next Tuesday. I will let you guys know my next color class. I usually do a 4-week series on color. And each color, we basically cover something different each week. Use is a webinar. So each week we color something different. Cover something different. So, but it's for 4 weeks and then you graduate, you get your certificate, you get all these goodies and stuff, but we train for 4 weeks, once a week each time. Yes, that's why I love you, because you teach, you need to be, yes, you need to know the basics. Once you know, as long as you know the basics, all that advance is gonna come. You'll know it because you know the basics. A lot of people try to skip the basics, but you can't go from A to Z and don't understand the middle part, M and N and O, okay? So yes, so I will schedule something for the beginning of February because right now I already got some things scheduled doing I do one-on-ones as well. I do one-on-ones and then I do groups, and then I also have a video that's already done up, a webinar already done up that you can look straight through. It's about 2 hours that talks about color as well. If you go on my website, Jackie the Color Diva, you can see all the things that's happening on there as far as the classes, the webinars, the color course, the color toolkit. What else is on there? The book. And again, if you read my book, Hair Color Simplified, it really breaks everything down very minute. So you can, it don't matter what color company you work with. It doesn't matter because this is universal information that I give you as well. So it doesn't matter what color company that you're working with. The principles is the same for everybody, okay? So I just suggest that you study and, you know, understand everything, read, follow different color people, not just, if you're African-American, not just African-American, follow everybody so you can see what's going on with everybody. You know, hair is hair, it's just different fibers of hair. So you can see what's happening with the long hair and the short hair and understand, because sometimes, a lot of times, clients come in with pictures and the hair fibers is totally different. And they will say, I want this. And you're like, honey, you're not going to get that. You're not getting it because your hair fibers are totally different. She started at a level 7. That's why she could be that ice blonde in one application, where most of our clients, we starting at a level 2 or 3, and we trying to get them ice blonde in one application. Most of the time it's not going to happen. Okay, so that's why it's important to know exactly what you need to do, and that's why it's important to study and just follow people that's doing what you want to do and go from there. Okay, so that's going to be the end of our session for today. I hope you guys learned some things today as well. If you have questions, forward them to me beforehand so I can make sure I put them into that course that we're going to talk about for the next week. Thank you very much again. And that's what I do. That's what I love. That's why I said I'm come on every Tuesday now, because I just miss going out and teaching and just traveling and just meeting people. I said I'm gonna come on here 7 o'clock every Tuesday and just share what I know. Give you as much as I can on live. But again, I always have classes, webinars, one-on-one as well. My book, all the things that you need in order to know, just to help you reveal the basic fundamentals of hair color. Okay, so that's going to be my lesson for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will definitely see you next Tuesday. If you have any questions beforehand, you can email me at JackieTheColorDiva@gmail.com. Visit my website, JackieTheColorDiva.com. If you want to review this and other ones from the last 2 weeks, you can go on YouTube, Jackie the Color Diva. Okay? Thank you. My new Tuesday routine. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you again. This is Jackie the Color Diva. Stay colorful.